what it is about pop culture that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat.
Get yourself addicted. Get yourself addicted.
Welcome into the Pop Culture Pile Driver. I am Jason Rossi. You can follow me on Twitter at Jason D. Rossi. You can follow us on Twitter at Pop Culture P. Get addicted to the content, as you just heard in our new intro. Smooth stuff there. But with me, as always, is my tag team partner in the podcast and streaming sphere, depending on where you are right now as you're potentially listening or watching. He goes by the handle of at Billy D2411. Billy D, what's going on?
Hello. By the way, that was Oh Yeah, my friend's band, Ryan McDonald. So if you have your phone, go to Spotify or iTunes and type in Oh Yeah, and they have a new hit track out called Birkenstocks. You won't be disappointed.
Love it. Love that a lot. Oh yeah. It sounds like the Kool-Aid guy.
It's Oh Yeah with like a period at the end. Oh yeah. Yeah with an H. Did you freeze? Did I freeze? Somebody's frozen. Hello. Oh boy. I think Rossi's frozen, guys. He's in a different part of his house. So I'm going to go to YouTube and actually see.
Oh, there we go. I think we're back. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, speaking of, I think as soon as I said hashtag Dorktober, they're like, yeah, get these guys out of here. Anyways, it is Dorktober 5, Bill. So today's episode, which we will get to, we'll be reviewing the 2009 Paranormal Activity.
I didn't watch it.
Well, we'll get to that even more. I don't even know if that's true or not, to be honest, and I don't want to know yet. But Bill, we always like to kick off the show by kind of getting a little to know what's on your mind. So, do you want me to go first, or would you like to go?
I think you should go first because I made a little video for what is on my mind.
Love that. Yeah, so I will start. First off, R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen. A horrible loss to the music industry. Another tough break here in 2020. There's so many talented people that we've lost this year, but Eddie Van Halen, a legend, an innovator, maybe the most famous guitar player in a lot of people's eyes. In the height of his fame was like the guy. Nailed Valerie Bertinelli when she was super hot and happening back in the 90s.
Still pretty hot.
Oh, she came back. She did a whole comeback. She did that. What was that? Weight Watchers. But anyways, that's not the point. Eddie Van Halen, completely influential. What a guitar god. When you think of the band Van Halen, he's not even the first person you think of. You probably think of like David Lee Roth, but the namesake goes to him and his family. And you probably do.
You have to think of him. How many other bands are named after the guitarist?
Nah. Santana's not really a band, but I guess you could go there. But I don't know what it is. I feel like
he's the guy, though.
Yeah, but I feel like David Lee Roth still gets like the fame when you think of Van Halen, the band.
What about Marlon/Medford's own Gary Sharon?
Oh, those are some dark days for the old Van Halen, and don't even mention Sammy Hagar. I think also is kind of a trash. But anywho, the point is that he passed away from cancer. Totally sad. Really, really sucks. Played a lot of Van Halen today. Their albums are insane. His licks are incredible. What a band. Just that, he was one thing.
Panama is one of my all-time favorite songs. If I made a top 11, it might squeak in there. And in fact, the time I saw it was in the trailer for Superbad, I was like, this movie looks incredible, and they're using Panama as the trailer music. I mean, it's just one of those songs that, like, every time I'm driving my Honda Civic, it's the only time I wish I had a faster car. I just want to, get on that open road and let it go.
I love it. Also, just real quick, a lot of movie delays, Bill. 2020 has been a horrible year. We're all looking forward to 2021 and all these great movies. Black Adam, The Batman. Who isn't looking forward to that? Both got delayed till 2022. Hopefully that's all for good reasons, not because the movies are going to suck, probably because of everything filming, getting people together. Things are getting tough, but that kind of sucked. Then one last piece, horrible news here, and when we are crossover with some wrestling stuff and pop culture, and Glow. I don't know if did you watch Glow on Netflix?
I love Glow. I haven't seen the third season or the fourth season. Whatever one that they're in Vegas, I never finished, but the first two were phenomenal.
So they just got the word out that they got canceled. Not due to the ratings or anything, just because they don't see a place and time that they can all get together and film in the near future. Mark Maron made some news saying that, he's heartbroken. It's such a bummer. Hopefully it's one of those things, maybe in a couple of years they'll regroup when things get back, but that really sucked. So that's, I don't know. I didn't bring anything really good here, but.
Mark Maron had some of the greatest quotes ever in that show. He was like, anybody can have an idea. I'm the fucking guy who can make it. And then there was another one where somebody's like, I can work with that. And he goes, of course you can work with that. I'm a fucking genius. So his stuff in that show is amazing. Plus, it's the 1980s, which I love.
Yep.
It's Allison Brie, which I love. And it's professional wrestling, women's professional wrestling, all things that I love. So our friend Caitlin, when that show was coming out, was like, Billy, this is the show for you. And it really was. The first season is one of my recent favorite seasons.
Oh, you're getting better, Bill. You're getting better of diluting your hyperbole. I thought you were going to say it's my favorite season.
Dial it back. Dial it back. It's my favorite show about professional wrestling that isn't actual professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's an excellent show. Also, if you watch wrestling currently, the character of Lacey Evans basically was modified or created around the main character or one of the main characters on that show. Yep, Liberty Bell with the women's right. Everything about it is basically what Lacey Evans was. But now, Bill, I will click your intro for what's on your mind.
Let's hear from the boys.
The Boys, season 2 is coming to an end on Friday. Season 2 has been a wild ride, a lot of good stuff. No spoilers here, obviously. Do you watch the show, by the way, Rossi?
No, and I was going to ask you about this. So a lot of people have suggested it to me. I've heard that about the Umbrella Academy in the past, which was created by the guy from My Chemical Romance. So I wanted to check that out. Yeah, he was the writer and creator of the show. Yep. So that's the one reason I want to watch that. A lot of people, I don't know if they're any way similar, but everybody I hear talk about The Boys. I listened to the Dork episode when they were reviewing the first few weeks back. I feel like I should watch this show, though. It feels like it's something that's going to be worth my time.
I mean, in the first minute and a half, if you're not hooked, I don't know what to tell you. It's one of the best. This I can say unequivocally. It is the best, getting you hooked in the first 5 minutes of a show that maybe has ever been. And I don't even think that's an overstatement.
Wait, over a Lost or over those types of shows.
Totally, 100%. Because I didn't even know what the show was about. Everybody just said, watch The Boys. I had no idea it was superheroes. And then in the first 5 minutes, you're just fucking blown away by it. And then it's a roller coaster ride where they one up every single episode's ending somehow. And basically, I'm just trying to hype up, not that they need it, but Dork and I, probably Mac and Goo, are going to do the full review of season 2, which I'm very excited for. But it's just one of the better written shows because there's so many characters and so many different situations that you've never seen before. They're superheroes that are kind of bad guys interacting with good guys. The good guys are the bad guys. We've seen that before, but there's so many positions that they're put in. And this is so rare in media today when they get into a situation and you're like, well, what is actually going to happen right now? I don't have a clue. Sometimes you're like, that's going to happen. This guy's going to do this. It could turn 180. It could turn 360. Anything is possible in this show, and that's why I love it, because there's true excitement about it, and it's really one of the better produced shows. And I believe it was Wes or our guy Fryer on the Change My Mind podcast who said it's similar to Today a little bit because the way these guys are manufactured, and they're kind of like a company. Like there's the 7, but they're part of Vought. So he said, I wonder how much professional athletes are like this in real life. And the main guy, Homelander, which is kind of like their Superman or Captain America, is Tom Brady. I'm not saying that Tom Brady is an evil person, but he's so manufactured at this point. And I think it might be an interesting exercise. And maybe I can do this for another podcast.
What kind of exercise? Like benching, curls for the girls? What kind of exercise?
Yeah, that too. But you take each one of their character archetypes and you apply it to, either a famous person or an athlete. And I think Tom Brady fits the mold of Homelander so well because he's just, at this point, he's, a carbon copy of himself. But deep down underneath, he's out right now to prove Bill Belichick and everybody else who's doubted him wrong. And it's vindictive and evil. Just go watch the show if you haven't seen it. It is so freaking good. Go listen to all the podcasts that we're going to be doing about it in the DSG. So really a phenomenal show.
Love it. All right. So boys, I got to check it out. Now, I'll quickly give you my Rossi Wrestling Minute. Bill, it is draft season. WWE pulling out the draft. So this Friday, or if you're listening at the October 9th edition of SmackDown and the upcoming Raw, both going to be drafts, shaking it up. NXT will be involved. So it should be interesting to see what happens there. One last note. I know this will get you a little excited. Ember Moon recently returned to NXT. So putting her down in that division, we'll see her maybe against an Io Shirai coming up, which would be a real good matchup. Also, Tony Storm going to be coming over to NXT America officially now. So good stuff happening in the world of wrestling. But Bill, it is October. It is Dorktober 5, the new beginning. Hopefully the internet doesn't crash this time. And we are going to be now discussing the movie Paranormal Activity. It came out in 2009. And Bill, like I like to do with these, I like to take a little rewind back. It's like a throwback Thursday, go in a time capsule. This movie was released officially nationally on September 25th, 2009. It came actually out in 2007. We could talk a little about that. It was released in just like small like scream fest. Like this was a movie that had no budget. Steven Spielberg got word of it. They redid the movie a little bit. It got to the version that I hope you watched. Still don't know. We'll get to that. But it was released officially in the United States on September 25th. So Bill, also released that day was a movie called Killer Bean Forever, famous, Surrogates, and I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. Do you remember any of those movies?
No, I guess that's the week for horror, I guess, right?
Surrogates was a Bruce Willis failure. I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, I think was about like the guy who wrote a book about like just being a complete like masochistic, like hate telling women they're pieces of crap and getting on dates. It's like one of those self-help books, but he was just a piece of trash to women. Now, Bill, first question for you. Price of gas in September of 2009 was?
$2.35.
Very good guess. $2.58.
Oh.
The number one record in the United States.
2009.
It's a big wedding song.
I'll Be Loving You Till You're 70 or whatever the hell it is by Ed Sheeran.
No, that would have been way more recent. It's I Got a Feeling, Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Music like in that era, they kind of all blend from like 2009 to like 2015.
Sure. Number one rock-alt song. Even if you tell me the band, I give you credit. 2009.
2009? Green Day? I don't know.
Notion by Kings of Leon. And the number one movie at the time, Bill, was?
Fucking no idea.
That was not it. It was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. All right, last ones here. This one, it's kind of a chalk answer on both. There's two WWE champions. One was a world champion. One was the WWF champion. Can you
John Cena, Dave Bautista.
Oh, no. Batista was gone. John Cena, and think of another very famous wrestler during this time.
CM Punk?
CM Punk. Bill nailed it, everybody. Give it up for Billy. Woo! All right, Bill. Ratings on this movie. So this movie, again, was released to the masses in September of 2009 and was given a pretty good review, actually, from your friend, Roger Ebert. This is past Siskel's time, so it was also James, I think his name was Vernon Dinelli. Don't even him. But they both rewarded it a 3.5 out of 4 stars. And Ebert said, it illustrates one of my favorite points. The silence in the waiting that can be more entertaining than the frantic fast cutting that usually you see in these horror movies. Take that for what it's worth. IMDb gave it a 6. Well, it has a 6.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, Bill, if you use that site, it has an approval rating of 83% in critics, the audience approval, and critics give it a 57%. Metacritic has it as a 68 out of 100. So that's what the national people out there say. Bill, I will start with you on this one. Our curtain jerker, did you like this movie?
So this is a tough answer because as an idea, it's unreal. I mean, the way that they did this movie with a handheld camera the whole time, and it's a story between, Mika and Kate, and they have 1 or 2 other people in the whole movie. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I give them an A+ for that, and making money off of this, which, they probably made millionfold over what they actually cost to produce this thing. As a story, I didn't really love it as the story. Scare factor, pretty good. Overall, it's a meh.
You're jumping all over the place.
It's a meh.
The question was, did you like it?
I mean, it's tough to answer that one because
you set up these things, by the way, so you're breaking your own rules.
Meh. It's a meh.
Okay.
Did I like it? Meh.
I will say this. It was the scariest movie I had ever seen in the theaters at the time. So I will always say I like it. Watching it again last night, I fell asleep.
It's not compelling.
Well, see, I disagree. I think it's compelling the first viewing. It does not have replay value, but we'll kind of get through it.
So theater experience, I imagine, would play into this greatly because you're in a dark lit room. I hate scary movies. I'm a big baby, so I watched this at 5:30 in the afternoon in a well lit room,
Smart.
and I was focused on it, and it gave me some pretty good jump scares. But for the most part, we can get into this, but my biggest problem is Micah, whatever the fuck his name is fucking unbearable.
Okay.
And that's the biggest problem with this movie is they don't do any, character enrichment to get you to care about this guy who would eventually, spoiler alert for this 2009 movie, fucking dies brutally. And I'm kind of like, it sucks that he dies because he didn't technically do anything wrong, but this guy's a prick. I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So let's get into the casting, Bill. Both of these actors go by their quote unquote real names. By the way, this whole movie, this selling point of this movie was that it was real. It was put into theaters. The advertising for it was all about being real. The opening slate was like, we want to thank the families of Mika Shalantz, whatever his name was, and Katie Fairstone or whatever, and like the San Diego police for this footage. It's like, we were meant to believe this was real. Just like the Blair Witch Project had done 10 years earlier, this was this generation's Blair Witch. I think they did a little better for different reasons. Obviously, the Steven Spielberg budget helped out a little bit. But the casting of it, these are two literal nobodies. So I give this 2 thumbs up on casting for this reason. I didn't know them. It felt real to me when I first saw it. I bought into it. It wasn't like they were grabbing some, you look on their IMDb. At the time, Bill, if you looked on their IMDb, it was just this movie, like shortly thereafter. It's all they ever did for the longest time. There's a whole bunch of universe with this movie we can talk about a little bit, but I thought that was really cool. And again, it was just the therapist or the
therapist or the psychic or whatever.
Yeah, psychic, because the guy kept playing the weird music when he would come in, and the friend of Katie. That was it. That's all you saw.
Yeah, Diane or whatever her name was.
Yeah, with the gyms.
The casting was okay. I mean, if I'm supposed to hate Mika, whatever the fuck his name is. If I'm supposed to not like him, he's a day trader, piece of shit. They obviously live in a really nice part of San Diego. They have a pool. They have a 3-bedroom house. So if I'm not supposed to like him, kudos. I didn't fucking like him. And he sucked. He's every guy that you meet that has like a cute girlfriend who's a piece of shit boyfriend. I hate this guy. And that was the biggest problem to me because I knew in the end he was the one who was going to get fucking whammed. He was the one who was going to get killed. And I didn't care. I didn't care about him. You need me to care about the character. I know that they were trying to make this seem like it was real, but I need to be a little bit more invested in him emotionally because I don't give a shit about this guy. And I kind of wanted him to die.
Yeah, he was a jerk. They also had that weird part where he was fixing a camera and they put that coin, whatever company he worked for, which clearly was like some sort of advertising for way too long. Yeah, he's a day trader, Bill. She's a student, and they have in a gorgeous looking house or townhouse in San Diego. Excuse me, I have so much gas. With a pool, it's insane. That's the biggest paranormal activity of the whole thing.
Well, day traders make a lot of money, a ton of money.
Then what am I doing? I got to become a day trader.
I was going to say, if he had like a collects butterflies job, then those are the people you see on like House Hunters who have a budget of like $700,000. So, but a day trader makes a shitload of money, and I can believe that he has a house like that. But again, like, make me a little bit more invested in him because obviously this is just, a made up story somewhat of a made up story that they tried to make real. Make him a little bit more believable, make him less of a dick. Because at 99% of the time, I was like, I'm totally with this girl. And eventually, obviously, you feel bad for her because she got demon possessed and fucking went nuts. But, I don't give a shit about this guy. I was just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the only thing I would say for him is that this girl comes in, and this can kind of roll into our speak and spell, the acting and writing of this movie, that like, he also, like, she didn't tell him about this. Like, this never comes up through all the time. It was like we saw them moving into a house and like, some crazy shit's going down. It was literally like, we've been together for a few years. And he's like, we're engaged to be engaged. That was the douche line of the whole thing. That was the part where I'm like, F this guy. What do you mean you're engaged to be engaged? Anywho, but he, I felt bad for him for a while, but yeah, then when he started being like, come at me, ghost and spirit, when he's in the pool flipping things off, he was a douche. I did like both actors because they weren't really good actors. It felt more real because I didn't feel like I was watching two people poorly act. I was watching two people, I guess, naturally kind of be themselves in a weird scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the time, obviously, I know that it's a movie now, and then they pitched it as it was a real life event that they edited it up for a movie. And if I went into it with that mindset, it might have been a little bit different. But I think you need incredible unknown actors to make me believe that this is an actual thing that is happening to them. The girl did a pretty good job. This guy was fucking insufferable. Like you said, every time he wanted to like fight a guy, or I mean, fight the ghost, or like, dude, like they told you not to fuck with it. You're fucking with it. This is your own fault. Like I don't feel sorry for him. I think they did try to garner him a little bit of sympathy when she was like, this has been happening forever. And he's like, well, you didn't tell me about this. You know, you could have told me about it in the 15th date or the 30th date or right before we moved in. That I think was their attempt to make him a little bit sympathetic, but it just never really worked.
Yeah, I thought overall though the writing, the acting, like they're not winning awards. This was like me and you putting together a movie. I did like the writing. I kind of just like the way the movie flowed. Like it was all about the anticipation. And most movies with those big crescendo endings, this nailed it. Like I said, in theaters, I'll continue to say it as we go along. I was scared. I was screaming. It was in a packed house where everybody was silent when it was quiet. It was tense. I ate a Reese's peanut butter cup and way too much popcorn. I was terrified. It literally scared me. I couldn't sleep. The reason I give this writing credit is because they did something that hasn't been done since Freddy Krueger. I was scared to be alone in my bedroom. Like when I was a little kid and saw Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger gets you when you sleep. What? Like, how many no-dos am I supposed to have? But that was still like such a crazy character. This crap here, Bill, this could happen. This could be, I moved into a house a year and change ago. That could have happened here. Where you're living right now, that could be happening. It terrified me. I had trouble sleeping for a week. This is by far, again, the scariest experience in a movie theater I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the theater experience. To get a little Keith-spiracy here, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Okay, I believe in ghosts as well. I'm not sure I'm sold on demon possession, though. Because I don't know. I think a lot of the times it's just people being fucking maniacs and then blaming it on being a demon. I mean, if there's some weird fucking shit, like there's no way she throws him across the room. And obviously no one's ever around for stuff like that. And this was a camera recording in a fucking movie. But I believe in ghosts and spirits. But I don't necessarily know if I believe that there are demon possessions. Although maybe that's a little bit hypocritical. Because if I believe in ghosts, maybe some of the ghosts are just bad. But I don't know if they can take over your body.
Yeah, I don't know, Bill. I've seen you turn once or twice, and I want to believe that was a demon and not the real person. That was you?
Yep, that's me.
Oh,
I have a switch. And we saw it on Change My Mind with Dr. Joe. By the way, they were like, well, we feel bad that we are no longer the official, podcast of controversy, because they said they had the most heated debate in the history of the DSG. And by the way, guess who was a part of that?
Yours truly, Billy. You were the debate.
Yeah, so I think we officially have that coined and minted.
We are. I don't care about any of that. The only thing I can stand by is we are the official wife, the number one podcast inside the dork universe.
Of your girl's podcast.
Yeah, like my wife listens. Davey's wife used to listen. I think he might hate us, so I don't know if she still listens. Wes, his wife, interacts, listens. Fryer, his lady of the night. I'm sure.
No, he's single. He's single, but she did listen at the time.
Yes, Keith. I bet you I could send it to his wife, and she would.
Because Keith always says his wife doesn't even listen to their podcast.
No, she doesn't listen to anything. She doesn't listen to the radio stuff. When I've met her, I've had been in her company a few times, and she says, like, I could care less about his life, aside from like him as a dad and stuff.
Which I like. Respect.
Yeah. Anyway, so then next up in the categories, Bill, is Hit My Music. We can quickly move on from this because here's the music that you hear in this movie.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's just that bass treble that they play when the ghost or a demon is arriving, and then the one time Mika played that X-File-esque
the song that he created for the guy, and that's another douchebag move that literally only the most annoying people would do it. We have a friend who was annoyingly playing a song that I will never mention on this podcast at a bachelor party at nauseum, and there's very few people who reach that level of annoying. So I can see it being believable that he would hey, I'm going to fuck around and play this. But like if you're in a relationship with that guy, it's got to just be the money, right? Like that's the only reason she's with this guy, because he is a douchebag to the highest degree. You can clearly see she's going through shit, and he's just like, I don't care, I'm gonna record you freaking out.
Yeah, and by the way, just I know this isn't part of this, but since music really isn't a part of the movie to really talk, they played the boob factor in this movie like I haven't seen played since like Barbed Wire with Pam Anderson.
Perfect girl next door. So the casting in that part, she is like the perfect, just cute girl. Like she is just knocked it out of the park with not like super, like obviously she's probably a drop dead fucking knockout when she, you know, does herself up for the red carpet. But in, you know, jeans, sweatpants, a little bit of makeup, she is perfectly casted. Just the nicest girl next door ever.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, her name is Katie. I think it's Featherston. That's how you would say it. Yeah, she's 37 years old from Arlington, Texas. She's known basically for her whole acting career has been, I can sum it up right here, Bill. It was Private Lives, whatever that is, The Scorekeeper, Paranormal Activity 2. She was in Psychic Experiment, First Light, and then Paranormal Activity 3, Paranormal Activity 4, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, and then In Search of Darkness. I don't know, documentary. But yeah, she this is it. This is what she's done, and she's milked it. She's made a lot of money. You mentioned earlier, Bill, how much of this movie gross? This movie production was $15,000 originally. Spielberg steps in. It then becomes $215,000. So that's only a budget increase of $200,000. It has made $193.4 million. That's betting low, buying high. Love it.
Well, I mean, I think for the original movie, the cost would probably be the camera because it looked like a really nice Canon camera, the light, the editor that did it, and then, you know, the actors would probably be your entire $15,000 budget. I think that we could really legitimately make a movie like this. I think I could have edited this movie, and I credit myself as fast and everything. Just, you know, ask anybody I've ever dated. But editing wise, I'm probably one of the fastest editors, at least I've ever met. I could probably have edited this in a weekend, maybe a whole week. But, I mean, it really is an achievement, the likes of which, I don't know if anything's ever grossed that much X. I mean, $200,000 and it made over $100 million. I don't even know the math on that, but I know it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a good bounce back on your dollars. So, Bill, next up would be Act It Out. Do you have a scene you'd like to act on this one, Bill?
Just her at the end where she just goes right into the camera. And for the audio listeners, I'm just going to zoom into the camera and like give devil eyes. That was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that. And obviously that was the whole build up to the end of the movie. The demon kind of plays that guy like a fool, which yeah, kind of deserved. I hate to say anybody deserves to die when they weren't like malicious, but he was being a real prick about it. And she screams. By the way, he kind of reminds me, not in any of the actions he does, because Fryer's a stand-up guy, but he kind of sounds like and looks a little bit like Fryer.
It does look like him. In Fryer, when he turns on the douche character that he performs here inside the door. No. The guy shows up he's probably going to show up some point during this podcast. It just pops on, it says ridiculous things, doesn't make any sense. Nice guy outside of the universe, inside the universe, complete douche. But yeah, this guy, there is a lot of similarities.
Yeah, and like, so that was kind of cool, the ending. And like you said, like the scenes of them in the bed and the shit that's happening, it was kind of like, oh, Jesus, that's moving. And her getting dragged down the stairs, that's frightening like you would not believe.
Every time when the bed sheets would blow up, I don't know what it still gets me. Like, it makes me think, and it makes me always wonder, because I'm a guy, I love to be nice and cozy in the bed, but sometimes I like to put my feet outside of the quilt. And sometimes
every night.
I always think of that, though. I always think of, like, am I leaving too much room for something to potentially get me? And I'm also, Bill, I'm so superstitious. I always sleep to my right, because I think if I sleep to my left, like, something like, and I'm always on, like, a quick escape route to the door. I leave my wife. She'd be toast. I'm right, like, wherever the door is. Son? Oh, he's in a different room. He's.
Will you get him on the way out?
Of course I would. I'm just saying, if something came into my room, like, I'm out the door. Someone tries to crawl through the window. I'm out the door. I'll protect everybody.
You're not saving Courtney?
I'm not saying I wouldn't save her. I'm just saying that she's more in danger in this position of the way. I always have
So you gave her the window because you're scared.
It's honest. Well, it just seemed to happen that way. She's a left side of the bed type of gal. I'm a right side of the bed type of guy.
So you would like vanish from the room if somebody was coming through the window and leaving your wife, who I've seen fall asleep at the drop of a hat and is a very sound sleeper.
Yeah,
she's probably dead.
They would already think she's dead. They move right on to me because I can't sleep. I wake up. There was literally like a crackle of a cry from my son this morning. It's 5:45 a.m. and I was up for the whole day. She like sleeps. He could, not my son, but like there could be like a tidal wave. There could be thunder cracking. She fell asleep on the couch last night after watching this movie. But anywho, sidetracking. My acted out bill will just be the part. Let me see. I have to back up because it still gets me every time when she just screams his name when it's just and he's like, whoa, what the? That would be me. What he does, he jumps up, runs down the stairs. Little did he know what he was running into.
You can come back to the mic now.
By the way, Bill, there is one thing I want to just tease ahead. I don't think you'll ever, maybe one day. We could have written the whole series here. I know I don't want to say what Dorks do, and I don't know if they teased ahead of some of their episodes, but they had an idea that I thought for us would have been awesome because you're not a big horror movie guy. And I was thinking just watching the nastiest. See, I thought this was a nice, like, softball, scary, but also a movie that was very famous. But there was one franchise they're going to be covering. I don't know if they said it. I'm not going to say it. But I wanted to do it with you because I thought this would be, like, ultimate. But we'll talk about it a few weeks down the line. But with that being said, I thought that movie. So this movie has 4 other movies after it. And not as good. Paranormal Activity 3 is nuts. But the marked one's a little different, and they get into that scene where she screams. There's some like transportation or like universal weird stuff with ghosts that they get into. It gets really strange, but they really turned something out of nothing with this movie. So I give them credit there. So let's go into the legacy, Bill. Like obviously someone who's just watched it now, knowing about it there. What is the legacy of this movie in your opinion?
I think it's the black and white cam on the bed is the legacy of this movie. That's what I knew right away when you told me what this movie was. I was like, oh, it's the movie where they have the camera running and shit happens in the room. I think that's really it. Other than that, especially after watching it, nothing really jumps out other than Mika is a fucking raging douchebag.
For me, the legacy of this one is always going to be the think it's real. What documentaries now why documentaries are probably the most frightening thing in the world. Like this sparked a lot of those early documentaries, even go back looking like 2010, 2011 documentaries that are coming out about ghosts and all that stuff. Obviously way before Netflix was a streaming service. This was when you had to get 3 DVDs at a time. Yeah. For kids, that was a thing. I just look at it. That was a big part. It was all the marketing of this movie and also really reinvigorating the found footage films. Blair Witch made it famous. Nothing really big in the 2000s. And this movie came out and you mentioning, I think we talked about this before, Quarantine. There's a ton of movies that became just like cameras picking up stuff or becoming part of their movies, including movies like actually became before this was Cloverfield, but that was a big budget. This is also the legacy of being just a small budget, nothing film with no real actors. They did a lot with this movie. And again, I really enjoy that part of it.
So I really will say, what is it? Ebert? Is he the one that's still... He really hit it home with the, solo one shot. I get a lot. My only critique usually for editing is I make fast cuts. I like doing it. It's fun. But there is really something cool about a long, slow, suspenseful shot that really, really builds the tension. And I thought this movie did that really well, kind of creating those points to be like, oh, shit. And then like a big scare happens. So I really liked that. Maybe, that's the, film legacy of this one a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, that is for sure. Like the suspense of that, like the whole movie was leading up. I'll tell you, when that last scene comes, I'm in a theater, I'm crapping my pants. You just hear the of the stairs, and I kept saying to my friend's now wife, because I was there with them, I was just saying he's going to get thrown to the camera because it was part of the advertisement. He's going to get thrown to the camera. He's going to get thrown to the camera. He's going to get thrown, and then he got thrown, and the whole theater exploded. It was terrifying. Absolutely horrifying. It still gets me.
I think one of the original commercials was people's reactions in the theater, right? That was like one of the commercials for this movie.
Yes. That was the whole thing. By the way, I did just get a little scared now that I've moved my camera. People noticing I don't share universe. And I literally had to think because I had to read that twice while this is happening. Bill, okay, the Then Now Forever, Bill, what would you say is this movie's We talked about the legacy, but would you say this movie stands a test of time 11 years later?
I really don't think it does, because I think it has to be the theater experience. I think you had to be in the moment to really get the full effect of the movie, because watching it, for the first time 11-ish years later, it was scary, but I am a baby. It's easy to scare me. I remember one time we went to, whatever the Halloween Horror Nights is in Universal, and after 3 haunted houses, I tapped out. So I was not that scared by this. I slept easy, breezy, beautiful last night. So
Cover girl.
I don't think it does. Yeah.
Okay. For me, it doesn't stand the test of time only because of what horror has brought in us. It kind of reinvigorated itself again over these past few years. It's not gory, so they didn't go that way. I do really like it. I just think it's a one-time viewing, whether it's with friends, whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with somebody you're trying to get a little action with. That always helps with this one. But more importantly, that theater experience, I'll never forget. Still to this day, no movie has scared me. Exorcist is right up there when I saw that, because I saw that when they re-released it in theaters. I love being scared. I really do. It's one of my favorite things. Like, I love wrestling. I like being scared. I like scary movies. I could talk about these things all day. But I don't believe like it's something that you could give to somebody today and be like, aside from like a history lesson on like, look at this for 15 grand. Look what they did. But yeah, I don't think it really stands the test of time. So Bill, what would you rate this now from 1 to 11?
5.5.
It's pretty fair. I was going to say a 6. I really like it. And I'll give you the reason why that we're doing this as well, because it's part of the top 50 horror movies. But yeah, I'd say it's around a 6. I rated it. So we're part of the Dork Shared Universe of a handful of us put together a new top 50. It wasn't the old one. I put this movie, it currently ranked, by the way, it came in at number 37 in the top 50. For me, I got to remember what column I am. I'm the last one. So for me, this came in at, so I gave it 26 points, which only 2 of us rated this movie on the top 50. Just to give people to know where we're at so far.
Who was
50,
the other, by the way?
The other would have been Goo. So me and Goo both rated Paranormal Activity, and the other 3 would be Mac, Keith, and Davey. Did not have it on their list, but it did get a combined 60 points to make it the number 37. Number 38 was The Fly. Number 39 was Zombieland. Number 40 was Audition. And Bill, I hate to say this, I was in the movie. Me and my wife are watching one of these every night. I've been trying to make videos, not happening all the time, but I the whole subtitle stuff, sometimes I just can't do it. I'm just not in the mood. And Audition, I still never seen. I'll be honest, so it didn't rank for me. 41 was American Werewolf in London. Awesome movie. Fun. Great music in that one, Bill. You would love that just for the music. Dawn of the Dead 2004 was 42. Devil's Reject 43. Sinister at 44. Hereditary at 45. You're Next at 46. Awesome movie, Bill. You would love that. Write down You're Next. You would absolutely enjoy it. It's a home invasion style horror.
No, never.
No, but it's not. It's more badass.
I've been home invaded.
It's more badass. It's more bad. You're true. I forgot about that. It's more badass. I promise you, you would like it. It's not as terrifying. Black Christmas is another home invasion that you'd absolutely scare the pants off you.
No,
awesome. No, I'm not telling you to watch that one. You're Next. You would like. The Descent was number 48. Number 49 was Army of Darkness, and The Omen was number 50. So you gave it a 5.5. I gave it a 6 out of 11. That might be our lowest combined movie that we.
By far, yeah. What is the movie? So I've been told, I forget the name of it off the top, but it's like, I don't know if it's House on Haunted Hill. It's basically, Cabin in the Woods. I've never seen Cabin in the Woods, but dude, everybody tells me to watch that.
Might have to do that. May have to do an episode. We still have a few more this month. Might pop in Office Season 3, but that might have to be one because you would like it. I think it's awesome. I think there's a lot to talk about in that one too. So
I would like to do that one because there's so many people, even when I tell them I don't like horror, they're like, there's a huge twist. And more importantly, I have never, ever heard what the twist is. So
I won't say anything. My lips are always sealed. I'm spoiler-free since 2003.
Maybe we can quickly say my home invasion story. So there was a situation going on with my family where somebody was actually coming to maybe get us. And I went down to do laundry.
Bill, I know the end of this. They were clearly coming to get something. We'll just say
that. The person that was, involved with my family at the time got arrested on the way to our house with a weapon in hand. But in that period of time where this person was after our family, I was doing laundry at about 2 a.m. at night. I don't know, I was in college, probably sophomore year. I didn't go to school, so I lived at home. And I went to go take the stuff from the washer, put it in the dryer. I was probably trying to impress a cute girl with a nice outfit the next day. And from the darkness, somebody leaps out and tackles me to the ground. Now, I wrestle with him, and I actually, just pure adrenaline, pin him to the ground. I look at him, and I go, Pat, and he goes, Billy? I was like, get the fuck out of my house. He was a kid that I went to school with, clearly on something. He runs out of the house. My mom, who heard us yelling, wrestling, whatever, comes down like 2 minutes later and was like, what happened? And I was like, you will never believe this. Because we had a basement door my dad always would leave open. So, yeah, that was the story of me I almost had an actual heart attack.
It's still one of the scariest stories. I don't even know if it did justice to the feeling you must have had. Just imagine being in any dark, or imagine you were like Macaulay Culkin, but the downstairs basement actually turned into something horrible.
And I swear on my nieces, my nephew, my mom, this is 100% like that happened. And I like the home invasion stuff, like the Strangers. People are like, oh, you'd like the Strangers. I was like, I am never fucking watching that movie.
Whoa. One of my absolute favorites. High ranking for me. Once this is all said and done, I think we might have a round table with those guys, or the five of us. But I can't wait to talk. I still think The Strangers is one of the best horror movies.
So Davey said he still checks the back of the car for stuff.
Yes.
I check everything all the time. When I got my first house, like it was just me in there for a little while, and you've seen
very big house,
14 rooms, a basement that was fucking a mile long. I would go around with a butcher knife to each room before I went to bed.
I wouldn't doubt it. And first of all, knowing you, and B, that would be true. But for me, the reason I check the backseat is because of Child's Play. That little bitch Chucky always. Oh, there's a scene where he wraps somebody's face and kills. Urban
Legends.
Oh, that's another one.
That's Urban Legend with the guy in the gas station who can't talk. That one's fucked up. Is that the one?
That for some reason those two things being together. I know both, but I don't know if that's Urban Legend. But either way,
goes to get like gas, and like the guy's like freaking out, but he can't talk, and like he's trying to like warn her, but she's afraid of him. Meanwhile, there's a guy in the back seat waiting to kill her.
I think that is yes. Yeah. A lot of hotties in that one. All right, Bill. What about this week in the Dorkshire Gooniverse? And by chance, if you say I was locked out, I put it in the internal chat for you.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. So if you click on private chat.
I'm clicking on private chat. I see nothing, but I do know what Mac and Goo did. They did the 1989 classic Aliens. Other than that, no.
Dork
Change My Mind. They had a paranormal guy on to talk about paranormal stories. I didn't get to that part of it. I heard the beginning where they talked some smack about us, and then Dork did Scary Stories in the Dark, right?
Yep, To Tell in the Dark. Yep.
To Tell in the Dark. That was actually a great episode. I enjoyed that one very greatly. TLDR talked comics.
Yep, that's correct. They did do that.
Is there anything else?
That's the whole. And then Dr. Joe, Shime, and Davey are streaming up like.
All the time. Shime is probably the most consistent. Dr. Joe, a lot of good streaming. I think Dr. Joe. Did he beat in our Madden League, which I have a game coming up soon? I think he beat good old buddy Mort.
Oh, Mort. Don't know who the hell that is. Anyways, upcoming podcast. So yeah, this month we'll try to keep it as Halloween related. I love this stuff. I could do this all day long. I think Cabin in the Woods is a good one. We'll probably have to hit one of the classics. I know Mac and Goo did a movie that kept moving, but I have to get one of them. It might be Nightmare on Elm Street. We got to give you.
Is that Freddy? I would do Freddy.
That's Freddy. So I have to get one of the big ones, either that Friday the 13th, but that series is a little wonky. I wanted to do a whole series with you, but it's just too short a time and there's so much stuff. But I think
I need a date though. Like these dates can't keep canceling on me because I need somebody to watch these with, because I don't know if I can handle Nightmare on Elm Street by myself.
I'm telling you, Bill, it's a great date movie. I'll just say that. All horror movies are great date movies, but I think we should also get in Office season 3 in there as I just
get Lucy and Fryer.
I will get Lucy.
I gotta get Fryer.
I think maybe we'll get back to him in season 4. I have to give him a lot of prep time. I feel like some people know it's like if you asked me to do Lost season 2, I could do it on the drop of a hat. Some people had to rewatch. Anyways, we'll get to all that. We have a lot more. If you have any suggestions, you can tweet at us at PopCulturePD. Make sure you to follow us. I didn't even tout the freaking podcast, by the way. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Amazon Music. Obviously, we'd love to have you on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. It would help us a ton. Follow us on Twitter at PopCulturePD. You can follow us as part of the hashtag Dorkshared Gooniverse, which Billy just told you about all their fun podcasts. You can do that on Facebook. So whether you are on there or your aunt, my cat wants to make an appearance. Oh, no, he ran away. That
The
movie's
original guest of our Rossi on Wrestling podcast, he was on like the first 9 podcasts.
Yeah, Desmond was a regular. He would always cry or scream or jump on the computer while we were 2 feet away from each other. But yeah, Bill, any other final thoughts or stories you want to leave the fine people with?
I don't think so. It's been a fun one. We're gonna get this in under at least 50 minutes.
Bill, you don't even understand how excited I am. My anxiety level only reaches once it hits 47, and we're before that. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad you took the opportunity to dig into some of the horror. We'll do at least 2 more. Maybe we'll go all month. We'll have some fun. We'll talk.
No, we gotta mix in. It's maybe at the end of the month we do The Office or in the middle, because it's just like when you watch a real horror movie, you kind of need that cool off. You need to watch like a couple of episodes.
The Office. You burn off a couple offices or How I Met Your Mother, whatever you're into. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Appreciate you all listening, tuning in. Smile, be friendly, stay safe, and as always, Frank says hi.